Was tired, but he hadn't fallen down yet, so he didn't think to rest. The light was getting closer and closer, brighter and brighter. Maybe it was home. Maybe Annie was there. "Annie! Annie!" a voice beside him said. It sounded like his friend Henry. Liam looked ahead towards the light. "Smell her," a voice said. Sounded like his friend Henry. They kept going and going, going and going. By the time they reached through a door of stone in the face of the hill he had forgotten, turned out the light wasn't a home, but a tunnel, and then a cave. And the walls of the tunnel and then the cave were made of a shiny, silvery white kind of stone. And the shiny, silvery white kind of stone was what made the light. It was bright and fun, and Liam could see himself in the stone. He could see his hands in front of his face now, when he held his hands in front of his face, and could see his fingers named A, N, I, and E. Annie. "Annie!" said a voice, and he turned to find his friend Henry behind him, staring at himself in the wall. It was too bright in the tunnel, too glittery and mirrory to see if the trail went through there. It was fun, though, seeing himself tall and short and fat and thin. It wasn't so much fun, though, when they got to the cave. The walls were so mirrory, and it was so bright and glittery, that they could not tell if it was huge or tiny. They could not tell what was wall and what was reflection. Could not tell at all until they walked into wall and saw it was reflection. Round and round the cave they went. "Lo, Liam," Henry said. "Lo, Henry," Liam said. "Lo, Liam," Liam said. "Lo, Lenry," Henry said. And round they went, bumping into wall, bumping into Henry, bumping into Liam, walking into reflection. Then the walls came in closer. They bumped into things more often. The room got longer. They went round and round less frequently. It was only when they bumped out of a tunnel that they realized they had been funneled from the cave into a tunnel. They must have spent the entire night playing bump with their mirror selves, unless they played the entire night and day and night again. But either way, it was day now, and day shone down on the outskirts of a dense forest. Dense is a funny word, isn't it? It can mean thick, like syrup, or thick, like Cousin Eugene. In this case, it means thick, like syrup, except for more foresty-like. The forest was lovely, all shades of green. Lime, mint, chive, sage, spinach, Granny Smith. The sky was pretty. The sun was nice. But the loveliest thing of all was the glittering, swirling, glimmering scent trail that snaked its way ahead of them into the thick of the trees. Liam and Henry had just turned left between the petrified tree and the crumbling rock when Liam collided with a tutu heading into the opposite direction, towards the jellied rat. It was mostly the other tutu's fault, but Liam supposed it couldn't see very well due to the ash and fog, so he decided to be nice. He pitied the tutu, and if his jumper hadn't been on Henry, he'd have offered it to it. "Sorry," Liam said. The tutu stopped and stared at Liam. Its eyes were horrible, black and mushy, leaking onto its face. It opened its mouth. Inside a nasty fat tongue flopped out like a homeless slug. "Puss off," it said, and continued onwards to the jellied rat. Liam looked at Henry. Henry looked at Liam. They both looked at the tutu disappearing into the fog. Henry looked at Liam. Liam looked at Henry. "Rude," Liam said. Henry agreed. A short time afterwards, past the disintegrating car, a few paces shy of the squishy fishy, they found the scent trail again. It was no longer floating, but lying pitiful and limp on the ground. If they happened to shuffle over it by accident, it went up with the ash. "Not good," Henry said. Liam agreed. Liam was very, very worried. He needed to get Annie out of that place. That place wasn't good for things, not even for tutus they saw once. Hunkered low to the ground like a slimy gray frog, except Liam had never seen a frog like that, and he'd had a book of frogs he used to read before Tutu. When they got closer, they saw it was wolfing on the carcass of some kind of animal that was no longer an animal. Liam's stomach churned, and not because of what he saw, but because he actually, for a teeny-weeny second, thought, could be tasty. He hoped it wasn't too late for Annie. The fog had gotten denser than the dense forest and Cousin Eugene put together. He lost Henry again, or maybe Henry lost him. It was hard to tell. Liam decided to keep saying his name so he wouldn't forget. Henry! A fog tutu stumbled out of the gloom in front of him and gnashed his teeth by his head. Liam! One coming, Liam said. There was a long silence in which Liam forgot all about Henry until he heard him say, Rude! From somewhere closely and far away. Henry? Liam? Another fog tutu, or maybe it was the same one, appeared by his knee. Fadas, it said as he passed. Rude, he heard Henry say from somewhere in the distance and nearby. Liam agreed. Henry? Liam? Liam ran into something he couldn't see and had to feel his way along. But whatever it was didn't seem to have any end. Henry? Liam? Henry? Liam? Liam? Henry? Annie? Liam? Annie? Liam continued to follow whatever it was he was following that had no end and wouldn't let him past. Annie, over here. She sounded closer. Annie! Liam. She was so close. He hoped she wasn't on the other side of whatever he was on this side of. Annie! Liam! And then he saw her. The fog decided to be nice and cleared for a smidgen so he could see her better. Curled up in a ball against the gray, drooling wall. Liam-y lamb, she cried. The fog lifted a little bit more. The area around them brightened into a kind of live zone. The remaining scent trail between them twitched and lifted off the ground like a bride's wedding veil as she runs crying from the church. Annie! Annie ran to him and hugged him tight. Liam hugged back.